Good day. My name is Lisette Alderete and I will be discussing to you Cordillera Administrative Region's ISNEG ethnic group who are living in the northwesterly end of Northern Luzon in the upper half of Cordillera Province. Let us first find out where the term ISNEG was derived from. It came from the combination of is, which means recede, and uneg, meaning interior. From these two words, we can now conclude that their name means people who have gone to the interior. This name is said to ascribe their probable history. Their ancestors, which were believed to have been the Proto-Austronesians, who came from South China thousands of years ago and definitely a distant land, came ashore the northern Luzon coast. They must have reached the rainforest interior, but there might be new groups that pushed them away, so they just resided to the outlands or the region remote from urban areas. This might also be the reason why we are not that familiar with this ethnic group, because they are living in an isolated area. So it is also believed that they came in contact with the Chinese traders, where they bought products such as porcelain, spices, and glass beads, which they handed from generation to generation. The ISNEG people were also known for being a head-hunting society, or those that take the head of an enemy as part of being a warrior. In 1600s, the Spaniards tried to change this custom through spreading Christianity among the people of the mountains, but then they failed because of a number of circumstances of betrayal and killings from that time. So now the recorded number of ISNEGs who are Christians are only 9% of their population. The rest of them are still into its ethnical religion. Let's now talk about the agriculture of these people. They traditionally do slash and burn or kaingin technique. The main food planted in their area is rice. There's always been a surplus every year except in rare instances of drought or infestation. Other than rice, they also raise crops such as corn, taro, sweet potato, sugarcane, which is used for making baso or sugarcane wine, bananas, yams, fruits, orchards, and tobacco. They usually do rituals and ceremonies too before planting, probably for a bounty harvest of their crops. With regards to land ownership, they have absolute and unwritten law of property relations. They can acquire lands just through the pioneer principle, or in which they can use the land continually if they were really the ones who used them first. It can also be through actual possession and active occupation, or through inheritance. All of these are applicable for lands like Banuwag, meaning Sweden, or lands that were already slashed and burned, the Sara or Agnanupan, or forest and hunting grounds, and Usat or Angmigayan, or water and aquatic resources, and the Nagbalayan or house where the family could have resided in the past. So, as I said, they have no written laws existing like ours, but they really respect and follow this unwritten law. Maybe you are wondering how and why it is possible that a community has no definite laws. Actually, the ISNEG society did not develop a form of village leadership strong enough to be recognized as an indigenous political authority by all ISNEG communities in the region. One of the reasons of this failure is the small size of villages and thus the small population of males that could be harnessed to form an army strong enough to bring other villages under its control. The last part of my report will be about the traditional way of ISNEG in giving birth. During the delivery of the baby, an ISNEG woman is in a kneeling position, unlike in our usual way wherein the lady lays in the bed and the midwife will assist her. They also use a mushroom as a talisman or a charm against evil spirits to ensure the successful delivery of the baby. So other childbirth customs and rituals of ISNEGs includes not letting the pregnant woman eat the crusty part of the rice at the bottom of the pot, or what we call the tutong, to avoid too much loss of blood during the delivery. They also say the mother should refrain from eating shellfish, especially those harvested from the brooks, or the tricks, because shellfish are slippery and are believed to cause premature delivery.
My report is about customs, traditions, and beliefs of ISNEG. ISNEG, ito yung mga sinuunang kapayaw. Yung una kong i-report about kung paano manligaw yung mga ISNEG man sa mga ISNEG woman. Yung ISNEG man, kung gustong manligaw ng ISNEG man sa ISNEG woman, yung ISNEG man kailangan makipag-usap sa girl's parents na gusto niyang ligawan. Tapos kapag pumayag mga ISNEG woman's parents, pwede na silang matulog na magkatabi yung ISNEG man and ISNEG woman. And after several nights, kung nagkaroon ng sexual relationship takes place, yung ISNEG man's parents and ISNEG woman's parents, kailangan nilang pag-usapan about marriage and engagement ng dalawang nagliligawan. Tapos, yung main purpose ng kanilang usapan, yung tinatawag na tadog of bride price. Yung tadog of bride price, ito yung kailangan bayaran ng ISNEG man, yung family ng ISNEG woman. Tapos, kung hindi nabayaran ng ISNEG man, yung family ng ISNEG woman na nagpag-usapang bride price, kailangan magtrabaho ng ISNEG man sa pamilya ng ISNEG woman ng 1 taon o higit pa. Tapos, merong customs, traditions na na-influence sa atin yung mga ISNEG. Tulad ng superstitious beliefs. Yung superstitious beliefs, alam naman natin yun. Yun yung mga pamahiin. Tapos, songs and dances. Halimbawa ng dances na yon ay yung tinatawag na tadok. Itong tadok na ito yung popular ethnic dance ng mga ISNEG dati. Hanggang ngayon, ito pa rin yung native dance na ginagawa ng mga apayaw. Na-impluensyahan ng mga ISNEG ang mga apayaw ngayon. Tapos, Sweden farming, yung paraan ng pagsasaka na impluensyahan din tayo. Tapos may dadagdag pa ako yung paano sila manamit. Di ba tayo, pag may occasion, nagsusuot tayo ng magandang damit, doon din, naka-impluensya din yung mga ISNEG doon. Tapos, yung mga ISNEG, meron silang 300 anitos and spirits. Tapos, they have no gods, only bad and good spirits lang. Tapos yung 3 chief spirits are Anlaban. Ito yung Anlaban, ito yung nagpo-protect sa mga hunters. Bago, ang pangalawa yung Bago, hindi ko na maalala eh. Sirinan, ito yung river spirit ng mga ISNEG. Yun lang yung report ko, sana naintindihan nyo. Salamat!
ISNEG also have stories and fables. Some of them are humorous and entertaining, which explain events and phenomena, relationship between people and their surroundings. The story of the judge and the fly is one of the good example of ISNEG's humor. Babasahin ko yung story, pagkatapos ko basahin, sasabihin ko yung characteristics ng ISNEG na nag-reflect dito sa story, tsaka yung tone ng story. Okay. The Judge and the Fly. The story of the Judge and the Fly, which sounds like a variation on a familiar theme, is a good example of ISNEG's humor. The story narrates as one, there was a man who had a cow. One evening, he untied the cow and brought her to graze on the kapay grass. The place was far from his house. Early next morning, he went to see his cow, only to find her dead. On closer look, he saw a dead and squashed fly on the body of his cow. He reported the matter to the judge, who ruled that henceforth, flies could be killed anytime, anywhere. One day, the man went for a walk passing by the house of the judge, who happened to be sitting on a bench in front of his house. On the forehead of the judge was a fly. He was made at the sight of the fly because it reminded him of his dead cow. Whereupon he looked around for a piece of kindling wood, and finding one, jumped in front of the judge and clapped the fly. The fly died, but the judge's head was severely injured. An investigation was made, but because the judge was said no person could be in prison if he or she killed a fly, the man was not imprisoned. Some characteristic of ISNEG reflected in the story. It shows that ISNEGs were hospitable, kind, generous, possessed with the spirit of self-reliance and courage, clearly artistic in their temperament. Tapos yung tone ng story, humorous and entertaining. Kasi yun naman yung kadalasang tone ng story ng mga ISNEG. Tsaka, yun lang.